This video is sponsored by trytreats.com. More on them later. Strange, offbeat, unique, bizarre, fantastic, creepy yet soothing, crazy and unsettling. These adjectives are all over the place, but those are the ones you've been using to describe the music of off. And even though it keeps losing on community polls and song suggestions, I decided to check it out for myself because I am so curious now with all these amazing descriptions that you're using to describe the soundtrack. So let's go. Off. Pepper steak. Makes me hungry, but also curious. How does this sound? Let's check it out. Sampled vaudeville music? What? This is art. Wow. Okay. First off, the music is intentionally using a lot of sampling, lots of samples. And for those of you who are not familiar with sampling, it is extracting already recorded music from other artists or other sources of sound and incorporating it in your music production. It's like you're using the auditory likeness of an already existing work of art or an existing recording of a sound, and then crafting your own musical creation out of all these Frankenstein pieces of music, pieces of sounds. There is one artist that kind of reminds me of this principle. You're all definitely familiar with the works of Andy Warhol, you know, the eccentric modernist artist who made a lot of print works based on celebrities, pop culture, and all that. Somehow that kind of visual aesthetic, that artistic style, it is somehow reminding me of this. I don't know, there's something about it that is very high art for me. What did I just listen to? Let's break it down. The composer used a ton of existing samples with the same beats per minute or BPM, or maybe he just adjusted them to have the same BPM, stitched them together to create this bizarre but also groovy piece of music. To unify the sound, he added that very cool, very funky drum beat. It's like you're assembling pre-existing Legos that were already pre-constructed by other people. Somehow you found a way to assemble them together, and then you added your own coat of paint and then came up with this. It's so unique, and I don't think I've ever heard anything close to this in video game music, at least not yet. This soundtrack from Off by Mortis Ghost is one of the more adventurous suggestions that you have given me to react to. I love being adventurous when it comes to music, gaming, and food, which is why I like to thank today's sponsor, TryTreats.com. TryTreats is an international snack subscription box. Every month, they send you a box of hand-picked international treats to satiate your adventurous spirit. Me and my daughter tried every treat from the snack box that they sent me. And our favorites so far are the Dolcetto Wafer Bites and the Copico Coffee Candy. And if you want to munch in on the fun, TryTreats has given me an exclusive 15% discount code, STRINGPlayerGamer. Use this code in the TryTreats subscription link in the description. Now back to the video. Fake Orchestra, that's the name of the song. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, first off, Fake Orchestra definitely lives up to the name. He's definitely using orchestra samples here, or synthesized orchestral sounds. But also, the entire vibe of this sounds so old school 80s spy soundtrack. I don't know. There's something about it. It kind of sounds like that era of spy action films or shows in the 80s, like MacGyver, Miami Vice. That kind of genre, in that spirit at least. Nice vibra slap right there. What an atmosphere that was. Non-stop rhythm, ton of percussion, especially the unusual ones like vibra slaps, and of course that signature 80s action bongo sound. That's such an 80s music scoring trope. Definitely a product of its time, especially when the synth companies at that time like Casio and Korg would hype up their rhythmic presets. And I think whoever they had arranging those rhythmic presets built in those Casio tone keyboards, it seems like they made it their mission to kind of utilize every single percussion sound that is programmed in that synth. And that's why we have this kind of rhythmic sound that is definitely a product of its time and the new technology that was available at the time. So, you know, I think it's always like a fact of life that technology and art at that time definitely influences each other. But this music, even if it was not written in the 80s, definitely referencing that kind of sound in that era. Yeah, something like that. I usually react to the music that majority of you are suggesting. But sometimes, just like in this soundtrack, I just get curious enough that I'll just react to it anyway. So keep on suggesting those songs, and it might pique my curiosity enough that I'll just check it out anyway. Avatar beat. Let's go. Oh my god, opening with those old school do choral voices. This composer is definitely going for a certain type of sound, a certain type of atmosphere by using all these old school patches, or at least similarly sounding patches to old school synths. This is a great modern example of atonal music used in a more drum and bass style. And when I say atonal music, it is a type of music that feels unstable enough to listen to, that there's no home key. For example, key of C, we have C major as the home key, and that is traditional tonal music, when you have a conventional chord progression that always goes back to its home tone, which is the tonic. But an example like this, lots of chromatic, ascending, descending chromatic progression by intention to throw you off. Hey, that's the name of the game. And have this feeling of very unsettling and very unstable. Okay, wow. So far, of the three pieces that I listened to, it is definitely in a drum and bass genre. I feel like the goal of the composer here is to not make you sing. It's not singable in any traditional musical sense, and it has all these unsettling atonal chords that are meant to make you feel bizarre and strange, but what holds them all together are those fantastic groovy beats. So it is definitely the type of music meant to convey a certain atmosphere, but also at the same time might as well make you groove to the music with those funky beats. Yeah. And for more of my content, click here.